Hello, Year 5, and welcome to our history wider curriculum lesson for this week. This week, I thought we'd take a look at some of the Greek gods. Now, the ancient Greeks didn't have one god like many religions today. They had a number of them. In fact, lots and lots and lots. But they did have 13 main gods. 12 of these lived on Olympus, lived in a great city above Mount Olympus. And then there was one extra, and you're going to find out about him along the way. Today, we're going to concentrate on the 6 gods you can see in front of you now. Now, I'm going to take you through, there's a little bit of reading going on. I'm going to take you through each of these 6 gods. I'm going to tell you a little bit about them, and they're going to share a little bit about themselves. And then at the end, your task is going to be to match the name with the god with some of the information. Okay, so really important you listen. If you miss something, don't worry. You can always go back through the video to find that little bit of missing information that you didn't quite catch the first time. Okay. Now, the gods for the ancient Greeks were a bit like humans, but they lived forever and they were much, much more powerful. So they did appear to the Greeks like humans. Now, they felt human emotions as well, like love and anger and jealousy, and they didn't always behave themselves. Some of the Greek gods were a little bit naughty. Now, the Greeks thought the gods lived high above Mount Olympus in a palace in the clouds. And from here, they were able to keep an eye on the life below, down on Earth. And from time to time, they would interfere. They would get involved in what was going on Earth. Oops, let's skip top. So from time to time, they would interfere in what was going on, and they would come down and send storms if they were angry and decide who was victorious in wars. So they'd really get involved. And sometimes they even played tricks on humans too. So some of the Greek gods were a little bit unpleasant. Okay, some were supportive, some cared about human life and wanted them to do their absolute best and improve and better themselves, but some not so much and just wanted to be naughty and mess with them. So here's the first of our gods. Now, Hades. Hades didn't live on Mount Olympus with the other gods because he ruled the kingdom of the dead, known as the underworld. People made sacrifices to him if they wanted something terrible to happen to their enemy. His brothers were Zeus and Poseidon. Okay, so a little bit of information about Hades. Now, what did Hades think? There we go. I, Hades, rule the damp, dark underworld. Even the flowers here are grey. My land is filled with shades. You call them ghosts. The gates of the underworld are guarded by Cerberus, my fierce 3-headed dog. The Greek hero Heracles once stole him and took him to your world. To reach my kingdom, you must cross the river Styx. Charon, the ferryman, will transport you over the dark water, but only for a fee. Okay, so there's a little bit about Hades. Remember, if you don't remember everything at the end, you can always rewind the video. I'll say go back through the video. Next along, we have Aphrodite. Aphrodite was the most beautiful goddess. She had a magical golden belt that made people fall in love with her. Aphrodite's sacred animals were the dove and swan. She was one of Zeus's children and was married to Hephaestus, the god of blacksmiths. There will be a number of words along the way there where I trip up, so don't worry, I'll do my best. So Hephaestus, the god of blacksmiths. I am Aphrodite, goddess of love. I was born from the foam of the sea. I wear a golden belt that makes gods and men fall in love with me. It's so funny when that happens. But when I fell in love with Adonis, a handsome young man, that wasn't so funny. He was killed by a wild boar when he was out hunting. I wanted to make sure his memory would live on forever, so I took drops of his blood and turned them into anemones, beautiful flowers. When you see these red flowers, remember my love. Okay, so there's Aphrodite. Next up, we have Hera. Hera was queen of the gods and the wife of Zeus. She was the goddess of marriage and women. Hera's sacred animals were the peacock, cuckoo, lion, and cow. I am Hera, queen of the gods. My husband is Zeus, and our son is Ares, the god of war. But Zeus has many other children who are not mine. I spend my days making their lives a misery. Serve me well, and I'll reward you as I did my watchman Argus. He had 100 eyes. When he died, I put his eyes into the tail of a peacock. You can still see them to this day. But be warned, you should never make me angry. When Prince Paris failed to pick me in a beauty contest, I destroyed the city of Troy. Clearly a lady not to be crossed. Next up, Zeus. Zeus was the king of the gods. He threw thunderbolts to punish anyone who disobeyed him. Zeus had many children, including Apollo, Artemis, Athena, Aphrodite, and Ares. I, Zeus, am king of the gods. My father was Cronus, a cruel giant. When I was born, he tried to eat me, but I had the one-eyed giant Cyclops make me a thunderbolt that I blasted Cronus with. Then I drew lots with my brothers Hades and Poseidon to see who should be the new king. I won, of course. Now men and gods fear my thunderbolts, but I, Zeus, fear no one, except my wife Hera. She's always accusing me of sneaking off to meet human girlfriends, as if I would. Next up, we've got Athena. Athena was the goddess of wisdom and war. The people of Athens named their city after her, and a huge statue of Athena once stood inside the Parthenon. Now, the Parthenon's obviously a building we're familiar with from our computer work. Zeus once had a terrible headache. It was so bad, he had his head split with an axe. And I, Athena, jumped out. I was fully grown, dressed in armor and carrying a spear. I am a warrior goddess, and when heroes like Heracles and Jason get into trouble, I help them. But I'm full of wisdom too. My favorite bird is the wise owl, and my favorite city is Athens, with its clever people. I gave them the first olive tree, and they grew rich from selling olive oil. And finally, Poseidon. Now, Poseidon was the god of the sea. He was known for carrying a trident, a large three-pronged fork, and could send storms and earthquakes to shake the land. His brothers were Zeus and Hades. I, Poseidon, rule the waves. My younger brother is Zeus, king of the gods, but I'm not jealous of him. I live in a golden palace under the ocean, and when I shake my pointed trident, storms rage at sea, earthquakes shiver the land. So I'm definitely not jealous. My son is the famous Greek hero Theseus. He killed a minotaur, a bull-headed monster. And I am also the father of the flying horse Pegasus and Polyphemus, the one-eyed giant. So me, jealous of Zeus? Ha! So, 6 of the Greek gods: Hades, Aphrodite, Hera, Zeus, Athena, and Poseidon. Your task for today is matching the names of the gods with what they're gods of. So there's the first part of the task. So you can see below here, we've got which of these is the goddess of wisdom and war? Which one ruled the underworld? Which of the gods was the god of the sea? Who's the king of the gods? Who's the goddess of love? And who's the queen of the gods and the goddess of marriage? Okay. Each of these match one of the gods above. So that's the first part. Match the name with what they're gods of. The second part is what extra information can you remember or can you find out about each of these 6 gods? So what else can you tell me about Hades, about Aphrodite, Hera, Zeus, Athena, and Poseidon? Okay, you can use the video, so you can go back and take a look, or you can do your own research and find out, go online and find out about these 6 gods yourself. Okay, don't mind how you get the information, but as well as matching them to what they're gods of, I would like a little bit of extra information on each one of them. Okay, I hope that's clear, and I hope you enjoy finding out some fascinating characters here. Really, really interesting creatures, gods. Okay, so enjoy this, look after yourselves, and we'll see you all soon.